Governor Kathy Hochul is investing $16 million on community development projects focused on underserved communities across this state.
Yeah, the projects were recommended by the New York State Commission on African American History, which was created to level out the disparities in Black communities all across New York. So joining us this morning to discuss exactly how this money will be used is New York Secretary of State Walter Mosley. So good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So the African American History Commission was put together 2 years ago. Can you talk a little bit more about what the goal is?
Well, the goal has always been to really be a representation of the governor's vision. 2 years ago, she signed an executive order number 15 in March of 2022. In November of 2022, a commission was put together and started meeting not only amongst themselves, but throughout the four corners of our state, talking to constituents, talking to scholars, professors, historians, sharing their stories about the impact that African Americans and Black New Yorkers have made since the inception of our great state. And they put together a report that was presented to the governor with 30 recommendations. And we're looking over those recommendations and seeing how we can implement it into public policy and really being accepting of what Black New Yorkers and African Americans have contributed on a day in, day out basis that are impacting our daily lives even today.
Of course, all of that is showcased in so many different ways across the city, like the Apollo, the Schomburg Center. I live in Harlem. There are so many beautiful places there that showcase Black culture. So what's being done for places like that? Is the Apollo getting some money to be revived?
Well, there are resources that are going to be available and dispersed. We also understand that as a lifelong Brooklynite who now lives in the capital region, that the state is so much bigger than the 5 boroughs, but we understand the importance of what the 5 boroughs and the impact that African Americans and Black New Yorkers have had here in the downstate region. But we want to highlight places of in upstate New York, in Erie County, when we're talking about the abolitionist movement in the Underground Railroad. We want to celebrate the Mid-Hudson Valley with the Harriet Tubman Institute. And then likewise, we want to celebrate places like the Hip Hop Museum in the Bronx. And we want to celebrate, obviously, the Apollo. We want to celebrate Dance Theater of Harlem. All of these institutes have a place in telling the story, which is rich and robust. It is just not for people of color. It's for every New Yorker to understand the important role that we've played in the development of our great state.
And also about areas that have African American history that people don't know a lot about, like San Juan Hill, where Lincoln Center now sits. Is there anything that's going to be done with this money to bring out more history so people can learn more about that? Yeah,
well, there are a few things. We are setting up the Black Leadership Institute in affiliation with the State University of New York, which will make this an ongoing project. It won't be just a standalone study. We like to call this a living document, a living piece of recommendations that we will continue to implement and impact public policy on a daily basis. We will also continue to work with the commission because they meet in the fall in terms of implementation and rollout. And then the governor will be presented with that, and then she'll subsequently present that to the legislature. But we understand that this is not a standalone project. This report is just the beginning, and we're looking forward to convening this fall as the co-chair, along with my esteemed co-chair, President Emeritus of the NAACP, Hazel Dukes. So we're looking forward to seeing this through. But we also understand that this is much bigger than me. This is much bigger than the people on the commission.
I think a lot of New Yorkers don't know that the commission led to a resource guide that led to then a travel guide. So how do you access that? And then what other projects like that are maybe down the road?
Well, as you alluded to, travel and tourism generates $85.5 billion a year to New York. And that's on, if you want to say, well, how does that translate to savings or benefits to average New Yorkers? That is a savings to the average household, roughly like around $1,000 annually. But the one thing that we're looking forward to is implementing the I Love to Travel Black New York initiative. We're going to incorporate that within our I Love New York campaign, as well as within our tourism department. So we're looking at this as being not only a place in which we enlighten and educate people, but we also how do we generate revenue from this? How do we generate taxable revenue that can be passed on to programming and the like? So to me, I think it's just one of those things where we have so many opportunities to kind of take advantage of not only educating and embracing our history and displaying it to all of New York as well as the country, but also understanding that there are ways in which we can benefit those very same communities that have been marginalized and have, a history that might have been underappreciated.
I mean, this seems like an effort that is long overdue.
Yeah, well, the governor has had this vision for a while. It is my honor to, as the co-chair, to help implement it, and it's really been a great experience for us as a department.
All right, Secretary Mosley, thank you so much for joining us this
Appreciate
morning.
it. Thank you so much.